Hey guys, my name's Doug MacArthur, and I'm Steve Vai's guitar tech. And we just finished the last European leg of the Inviolate tour, and we're here now in Hilversum at the MCO rehearsing for an orchestral gig that's going to be happening on Saturday. And I thought it would be fun to kind of take people through Steve's little jam rig for this show. Normally Steve has like a refrigerator-sized rack that we tour with all the, all the stuff for the Hydra, a larger Axe effects, and some other stuff. But basically, I just took a Sim 1 with his normal Synergy signature module, and it's basically his legacy sound, the clean channel and the dirty channel. And I took this, which was the rack that we were using on tour with the power amps. They're these Fryette LX2s, and our favorite thing about them is that it's a stereo power amp. You can bridge it for mono, but there's just a single volume control for both channels, so there's no kind of extra futzing around to try to get the levels balanced. So this is really kind of cool. And then you can change the presence and depth with the trim pots, but we're just using the stock setting, the depth pushed in. And some rented cabinets, not very important. But the interesting thing is this pedal board, because when we tour, it's nice to have a backup board with just pedals that I can rip off in case one of Steve's main ones dies on the main touring board. So this usually has a couple Boss pedals, like 2 DD7s and a CH1, and it's just like a consolidated version of his main rig. But for this orchestral project, it was kind of important that we had the option to have different delays programmed, different choruses, because the songs, they're kind of drastically different in what settings he needs, and it would be impractical to try to set up 2 DD7s with a million markings on them to try to change every song. It would be impossible. So Dante, Steve's rhythm guitar player, had this little FM3 that he brought on tour as a backup, and the day before we left to come here, I took this because I thought this is going to be the best kind of simple solution. And it's great, I'm able to program all these different patches, and it's so stripped back compared to Steve's normal fractal with the FC12, but it's getting us by really well. And it's a really simple signal, a wah-wah, guitar goes into the wah, goes out into the Gemini. These days, Steve just kind of uses the green tube screamer side, and then it goes out to the whammy, which he does a lot of stuff with this, but mainly he leaves this side set to a fifth. So every time he hits this little momentary switch, it jumps up a fifth, and he's been using that sound quite a bit. And then there's the normal whammy sound. And that goes into the front of the Synergy, and from the Synergy, it goes out to this volume pedal, which is, it's so practical to have this, to have a volume in the loop so that you don't hear that all the time, just amp noise. But then that goes out to the fractal and gets split into stereo, and that returns to the power amps. And that's it, really. We brought 2 guitars, Evo and Flow 3, which are really the main ones, the ones that Steve uses the most. But in my guitar boat over here, which Jerome is gonna take us to, Jerome brought a couple guitars to use, just so I didn't have to bring a bunch of guitars from the touring batch. And this is his Floral Pattern 2 that Steve gave him. And right now it's tuned down a whole step for Kill the Guy with the Ball. It's got 10 to 46. And then, of course, the other really cool guitar, which is Jerome's Flow replica. And this is just being used as a backup for Flow 3. But the sustainer works so well in this, it's really, really fantastic. And that's basically it.